So the reason they talk about the greatest common factor is because when you factor an expression, you're trying to figure out, well, what times what gives me this answer? And the first thing you should look for is there a greatest common factor? Is there something I can divide out of both terms? Well, sure, on this one I can divide them both by 5 and
3. Yep.
on your variables?
B.
A b. So 5b is my greatest common factor. We're going to put that in front, and then we're going to put parentheses, and then we're going to divide that out of each term. If I take 15b to the second and divide it by 5b, I would get 3b. I divide my coefficients, I subtract my exponents. 5b times 3b is 15b squared. Negative 10b divided by 5b would be negative 2. Negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2, and b minus b is 0 of them left, so I don't need any extra ones, right? So factoring what times what would give me this answer. If I take this times this, I get that. This times this, I get that. So number 11, if I want to factor that one, my greatest common factor would be 1 W squared. So if it's 1W squared, we can just write it as W squared, right? 1W squared and W squared are the same thing. So if I have 4W to the third and I divide out a W squared, what would I be left with? 4W. I'm subtracting my exponents. 3 minus 2 leaves me that extra 1 in there for my W. And if I have 13W squared and I divide it by a W squared, just leaves me the 13. So that W squared times 4W squared is 4W to the third, and W squared times 13 is 13W squared. Hey, yes it is. So number 12, I want to factor that. My greatest common factor is 3a squared. So when I divide out my 3a squared, 12a squared divided by 3a squared is just a 4. And negative 9a cubed divided by 3a squared would be negative 3a. By the way, when you have this, you want to make sure you don't have anything left in common. In case you didn't get the greatest common factor out, if you looked and said this was 4 minus 8a, you'd say, oh, those are both divisible by 2. I should have taken out a bigger number.